Hello crafty friends! Today I am super happy to be joining the wonderful designers from the Lawn Fawn Fans for their Valentine's YouTube Hop. You can check out the description box below to find out where to go next. Leave a like and a comment on every stop for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Lawn Fawn shop. I made this shaker card with all the new Lawn Fawn supplies. Let's see how this card came together. I started with stamping my images on Transotype perfect coloring paper with Lawn Fawn jet black ink. I was going to be Copic coloring my images, and this is absolutely my favorite ink and paper to use for that purpose. After stamping all of the images, I took a Copic multiliner to perfect the outlines where it didn't stamp perfectly. This really doesn't take that much effort, but I find that it makes a difference for the final result of the card. I die cut the lovely quilted heart backdrop out of Bristol smooth cardstock. Then I took out my distress oxides in the colors picked raspberry and worn lipstick. I was going to be ink blending this panel where the lightest color would be in the middle and the darker pink would be on all the edges of that cardstock. I started with the worn lipstick, but I actually quickly turned to the picked raspberry. It seemed easier to bring in the darkest color first and then blend it out towards the middle with the lighter worn lipstick. When the ink blending was done, I took a piece of Mermaid cardstock, which was about 4¼ by 5½ inches. This would go behind the pink panel, so I adhered it with liquid glue, just like this. I really like this color combination with the pink and then that mermaid cardstock behind. I find it looks super cute. After that, I die cut the 4-square backdrop out of regular white cardstock. This was the moment I decided I was going to be making a shaker card. So I trimmed down a piece of acetate and I adhered it to the back of that white frame. This was going to be my window of my shaker card. So I'm adhering it down with some liquid glue. My acetate was a little bit too white apparently, so I trimmed off any excess with my large scissors. I took some heavy doodle foam strips and put them all along the back of the white window frames. I decided to put foam tape on all the frames so that my shaker would eventually have 4 separate little windows to shake in. Also, I really like the heavy doodle foam tape for this because it's a bit thicker than other foam tapes, so it's ideal for shaker cards. You really need that height to make sure that the shaker bits can dance freely. Now time for the very fun part, time to put in all the sequins. There are some picket fence sequins as well as some crystal hearts. Lex wanted to help me for this, so he put in all the shaker bits in the different windows. After that, I removed the backing paper of the foam tape. It would have been better though to remove the backing paper before putting in all the sequins, because the sequins moved a bit and a few ended up on the foam tape, so I definitely would recommend removing the backing paper first and then dropping in the shaker bits. When all the shakers were back in place, I placed my mermaid's background panel on top and pressed it down firmly. Look at all those shaker pieces dancing around. I love how it's turning out. I'm still in love with the color combination as well. Then it was time to take out my images, which I colored and die cut off camera. You can find all the Copic colors I used in the description box below. Here I'm just showing you all the stamp sets I used for the images of my cards. The main images come from the newest Would You Be Mine stamp set. I placed all my colored images on my card to see if I liked the placement. But I did want to see where to put my sentiment before adhering everything. So I took the sentiment from the mini So Damn Much stamp set and I stamped it with Versamark ink. I did prep my cardstock first with an anti-static powder tool. Then I sprinkled on some white embossing powder over the sentiment and I heat set it with my heat gun. Here you can see the finished heat embossed sentiment. I die cut my sentiment with a sentiment banner so that it would be straight. Personally, I always die cut sentiments with a die cut banner. If I don't, my sentiment turns out to be all crooked. Now, as always, I am doing this with my mini die cutting machine, which I totally love. And Lex loves it too. He always asks me if he can help when I take out my machine. Then it was finally time to adhere everything. I started with my sentiment in the middle of the card, and then I placed all the other images around it. So a few at the bottom and a few on the top of the card. I mostly used some strong Scotch tape, since most images are adhered to the acetate, which is a very slick surface. For a few I did use liquid glue as well. Of course, I had to play with it just a little bit. Look how cute! All that was left to do was to make my card base. I took out some heavy white cardstock and I folded it with my scoring tool and a bone folder. Then I adhered my shaker panel on top with dry adhesive. Lex folded the cards and then I put on the adhesive. And this actually finishes off my card. I absolutely love how it turned out. I could play with it all day long. It's so fun and really shaker cards don't take that much extra time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go to the next stop in the hop for a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Lawn Fawn shop. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.